свой бензин.
Хорошо.
Девочка, что ты делаешь здесь? Красивая. Девочка,
Пить, бичку, вас не вяло.
девочка, куда ты идешь? Ты такая красавица. Подожди, девочка, куда
А
ты
у тебя
идешь? Что
сестра?
случилось с тобой?
Пойдем.
Run this way.
Приготовиться. Прицелайся. Помочь.
Wolverines! Подъездно! Подъездно! Снайпер!
When I was working for John Milius, they had shut or shuttered Canton's office, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
They sent him packing.
But he was,
And-
he wasn't the Warner Brothers head of production. He was an independent producer whose
Right.
contract had expired and he was going somewhere else. It's not like he
Right,
got
right.
booted out. He was moving his offices somewhere else.
Well, it's important to clarify that, right? So I show up. I'm in the second floor of Building 81, an epic building, by the way, that had Chris Nolan, Clint Eastwood in it, Joel Schumacher for a time, Peterson, Wolfgang Peterson. So I report
David
to John
Heyman?
Milius. Yeah, David Heyman. I report to John Milius, and he goes, "Hey, stand here for a minute." And I'm like, "What? What are we standing by?" And I'm standing next to him. And I go, "What are we doing?" He goes, "Shh, just stand here." And all the Canton's people are packing up, and some of them look pretty devastated. And the rumor was they'd been pink slipped. So I couldn't really read the situation, but some people were not happy to be shown the exit, right? And I'm like, "John, what? I said, stand here, right?" And so we're waiting and we're waiting. Suddenly he sees Marc Canton, and Milius goes, "This reminds me of the ancient Chinese proverb. You sit by the river long enough, and pretty soon you see all your enemies go floating by." And I'm like, "John, he like made me stand there just to say that so Canton could hear him say that, because they got along so well, those two." But anyway,
Well, so what was the enmity between them? Was it that John wasn't getting things greenlit, or what was the deal?
well, there was some of that with Milius. He was definitely, I felt as well, disrespected by the studio at that time. I have a feeling it went way back before Warner Brothers, before their offices were next to each other. My feeling was that probably went back a decade, or who knows, when they were probably two very different people trying to execute different projects and got in each other's way. A lot of these
I'm guessing
studio feuds
I
are
would
sort of
guess.
triggered from the past.
Yeah, but if I were asked that question, I would guess that John was probably developing projects that were too expensive for the movie for that company to make,
Undoubtedly.
and it's not as ludicrous as it sounds, because we had $2 billion to play with to make our movies, because the business model was 24 movies in a year. And I can explain to you how that happened, but I'm not going to do it this second. I don't want to go off on my tangent. But there are movies that the studio can't afford to make because because Warner Brothers, and I'm sure Universal and Paramount and everybody, the big studios, suffer the same problem, and that is what we used to call, it suffers from Warner Brothers calling. You get Warner Brothers calls a vendor for something, and suddenly the price goes up. Suddenly they think this is the big score. We've seen this. I've seen this with directors too, who get attached to a project, and suddenly they think it's a big score, and they run the budget up so much the movie doesn't get made, or it ends up.
It happens all the time. That's why productions sometimes use code names.
Yeah.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.